finish up this project. Our next step is to draw on the pockets. I'm following the instructions here, and they are going to have us use this cool 3D pattern pen tool. I think the point is to introduce it to you and how it works. I might actually, if I was doing this in real life, I probably wouldn't use that tool for this. I probably would have just drafted it in the 2D section. But, you know, we're trying to learn here and learn as many tools as possible. And the 3D pen tool is super cool. I do love it. So we're going to use it. Your point of measurement sheet, I don't think it called out the measurements for the pocket, so you can really just do whatever you want. At this point, we're just learning, so it's fine. Okay, so our 3D pen tool, it's over on the 3D side. Here it is. I think it used to be called line for whatever reason. Now they call it 3D pen, so if you ever see that, that was an update. And you see the tool right on top of it, how it looks pretty similar. So again, I just want to remind you guys, whenever you see that little white arrow, that's like an edit tool. So you would first use this tool, and then if you want to change it, you use that little edit tool later. Okay, and so really what this guy does, it just lets you draw right on the garment. So you can kind of just visually draw the shape you think that looks good. And I think if you double click it, ends it. Click, click. Or hit return. Let me get out of that. Oh dear. Delete. There we go. So there's my pockets, obviously like not symmetrical or whatever. So I can go clean it up and fix it on the 2D side. I'm just going to delete the whole thing and try again. I just want to talk a little bit more about it. So if I click one time, there we go. Now, if I hold shift, it'll go like up and down against the avatar's curves, like her body. So I mean, that's handy sometimes. If you like wanted to do a curved line, you would hold Control or Command, and it can do like curve shapes. I don't see how you can see it's like, oh, it's 13 inches or 14 or 16. You know, I don't think there's a way to type in the exact number you want. You know, if you want exactly 13.5, I don't think you can do that at this point. I think you just have to go change the length later, because like if you right click, it just kind of goes away. So I haven't been able to figure that out. And so maybe you guys know, or maybe it'll be an update in the future. So yeah, so right now I'm just going to use the 3D avatar, kind of eyeball it to sort of match our CAD that we were given. It is at an angle. I guess I wanted about 4 1/4. I'll change it later. Maybe I'll make this about 1.5 inches. And you know, of course I would like this to be symmetrical. And click. Okay, cool. So there it is. Now let's look at the color of that line. So it's gray. That's not an internal line. Our internal lines are yellow. Our baselines are purple. So I guess gray is just this 3D pen tool. So it doesn't really do anything for us. Just like kind of confusing or whatever. So to get it to like be a workable thing, we need to turn it into an internal line. Okay, and internal lines are super common in all kinds of pattern drafting tools, 2D pattern drafting, every company you can think of. So it's something you just kind of have to get used to. Like, I feel like for me, it should have just automatically made it internal line. I don't know why it didn't. So whatever, you just have to right click it, or maybe not even right, maybe I click it here. Click it on this thing, where do oh, now I know. Get our edit tool and select it. I guess I have to hold shift to select all of it. I probably could have done this right away before I deselected it. Okay, so right click, and you can convert it or trace it. I don't really need that 3D line, so I don't need to trace it. I'm just gonna convert it, just turn it into an internal line. Okay, and you can see it's yellow now on our pattern piece. Yellow means it's internal line. Okay, so let's take a look at this guy. Maybe I'll make her a little smaller. I don't need her right now. Okay. So he's kind of a mess, right? So I guess I can hit the letter Z and get my edit tool. So if I really want this to be 4 inches, I could right click it and say change length and make it 4 inches. And you could, maybe I bring in both sides or just one of the ends. I don't know. Doesn't really matter. And then this guy, I could say change length again. I don't want to change the start because I'll change the angle, so I'll choose the end and it'll bring it in, I think, from that point. and just get rid of this 1.5. Okay, same thing here. 0.5. Ooh, I don't even like that angle. Okay, whatever. So I kind of want a nice 90-degree angle. I'm kind of eyeballing it. So I don't know. Maybe this is fine right now. And maybe what I should do is actually draw an internal rectangle. And then here I can actually type in the measurement I want. So I want it 4 inches by, oh, I think I said 4.25. Now I already forgot. 25 by 1.5. That's probably smarter to just draft it. And then I can hit the letter A, and then I can move it to where this guy is, basically. I can twist it with this little gizmo bobber thing, and then move it again, and just kind of place it like where I want. And then I'm gonna split. I'm gonna put a, I guess, point there. So that's the letter X, keyboard shortcut. Or actually, I don't even want to do that. I'm gonna hit the letter A or Z. I'm gonna hit Z, and I want to select just this line. And I'm gonna right click, and I'm gonna say split it. Because why I did this instead of the letter X is because I can do a uniform split. So it did the math for me and just evenly split it into 2. Like some of you guys might know, oh, 4 1/4 divided by 2 is 2 1/8, and you know that. But sometimes I don't like to think about it, so I'll just do uniform split. Okay, so then we have this point, and I can bring this out really to wherever I want. And then I can select this other guy. I'm gonna hit A and just delete it. So there we go. That's an internal line. There's my pocket shape. Now, we need an internal line on our jacket so that when we make our pocket pattern piece, we have something to sew it to, okay? So I'm going to take this internal line. I'm going to right-click it, and I'm going to say clone as a pattern. I guess let's drop it. I don't know where. I guess up here for now. And I want to keep this internal line here. I don't want to delete it because now I need to sew it. So I'm going to hit my sewing tool. I'll say click this line. I want to sew it to this internal line right there. So I didn't even place it. Maybe I should have, but I think if I simulate, it will, oh, I probably should have made this window. Oh, good. I didn't actually hit simulate yet. I'm going to make this window a little bit bigger. Click and drag. There we go. And simulate. Okay, so it's falling into place there. Okay, so we have our pocket. You do the same to the other side. I'm just gonna keep going right now. Okay, so now we need to add a button and a buttonhole. So here's the tools. I'm looking over here on the 3D side. Again, there's a button with an arrow. We don't need that. That's gonna edit it later. Here's a buttonhole, or maybe yours is a button displayed. So both of them are there. I'm gonna start with the button. Now the button is actually going to go on, it's going to be sewn on our jacket front pattern piece. So I'm just going to click right here to place it, and I just clicked in the middle, and there it is. Now, let's see what's going on over here. I'm going to open up our object browser, our property editor. So it just gave us a default button, and I think that's perfect for today. What is this, Module 3? We're still kind of at the beginning of things. You can click the default button, and there's all kinds of property editor, lots of things you can change, or if you don't like that particular button, there is a library. If you go to hardware and trims and choose a button, there's lots of other buttons you can pick from. There's even like a store that you can go get buttons from. I don't know. But for today, let's fine. I mean, just pick the default one. If you want to play around, you can play around your own, some of the other styles, but I just wanted to bring that to your attention. You don't have to change it today, maybe later on a different module. Okay, so I guess I'll leave this open for right now because I think we need it for later. I'm gonna just make my whole screen big. Okay, so we got our button, but we need a buttonhole. So we need the hole on our flat piece. So I have to change my tool, to the buttonhole tool. And then kind of just like the button, it has that cross. So I really want to put the cross the same place where I put the buttonhole. And all I gotta do is just click one time and it like centers it. Now here's something kind of annoying is that it's just left to right. So it's really hard to spin around. I'm gonna show you the easiest way. I think the easiest way is like you wanna actually connect your buttonhole together and then you could change it in the property editor later. If I hit this like selection tool here, my select move, and I click on my button, come here, I wanna get you. Okay. Button, oh my gosh. Okay, oh, you know what? Wrong tool. Where's my button? There we go. The button with the white arrow. Oh, I can't believe I fell for that. Okay, so now my button's selected. Here's like a gizmo. I can rotate it in the gizmo. I'm gonna Command Z to edit undo. You can move your button around pretty easily with that tool. And then same with the buttonhole, I can move it around, but the buttonhole for some reason, when I click it, it won't let me rotate it. I'm gonna zoom in. So it'll let me like move it around, but I can't rotate it, which is kind of annoying. But you can in the property editor. So here it is right here, the angle like that. So the property editor will let you, I mean, that's not super intuitive for me. I don't know, for some reason, I personally just really want to like rotate it here. Yeah. So I mean, I rotated it right now. I probably should have waited until I sewed it together, but whatever, it'll work. Okay, so it's not sewn together because if I hit simulate right now, I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I'm gonna zoom in on this, panning on our girl. You know, the button, let me zoom in more. I'm gonna lift up my flap. See, the button's there, it's just like not fastened. So to do that, we need to do this tool. So I'm gonna click this guy, fasten button, and you click the button, and it's blue, so I know it's selected. It clicked blue real quick, I don't know if you saw that. Now it's yellow. And then I gotta go find my hole, and that's blue, so I click it, and you should see a little lock sign. And the lock sign shows that it's been buttoned, okay? So now what I can do is simulate again. And you can see it's been buttoned. Button checked, hooray. I'm gonna unsimulate and we're gonna get the little button edit tool. You could select it or select the whole, I guess either one, but yeah, again, if you wanted to change it around, you could do it in the property editor, like rotate it and whatnot. Okay, so that is our button and buttonhole. Now we're gonna give this guy a zipper. Let me close that. Close that. It's our last step, to give this guy a zipper. So the zipper tool is super easy to use, but your pattern kind of has to be clean and ready for it. And so I think if you played with the zipper tool right now, you might get frustrated because it won't work. So why it's not going to work is you can't have your pattern pieces linked together. It just, I don't know, it's not working for me. So you have to right click and say remove linked editing. Same down here, remove linked editing. I'm not gonna put the zipper on the neck, so I'm just gonna leave it like that. Now the other thing is that I did sew these pattern pieces closed, my center front. That doesn't really work with the zipper. The zipper basically sews it for you, so I need to delete that, okay? So that's just some little troubleshooting. I really think the zipper tool is so easy, but if it doesn't work, it's because there's something else wrong. That has nothing to do with the zipper tool, I guess. Okay, so I think I'm ready to go. Let's get rid of that message. Okay. Okay, I'm ready for my zipper tool. I got my clean pattern here. I got, the left side. I click it. Nothing else is selected. I got my right side. Nothing else is selected. Same with down here. My rib trims. They're not linked. There's no sewing stitches, right? No sewing. I don't think, did I delete you guys? I can't remember. I think I did. Yeah, no sewing. Okay. So I'm ready then to go get my zipper tool. And here it is. There's only one. I'm going to click that guy. For me, it's easier to just use the 2D window, but you can do it on the 3D one as well. So here's my blue dot. I want it to start right here. I'm going to zoom in. Right there. Click. Okay, so I only clicked one time. And I'm going to pan. and I want it to go down here, and I'm going to double click. Click, click. Okay, so side 1 is done, but we are not done. If I hit enter or switch to another tool, it's just everything's going to disappear and there's no zipper. I have to assign the other side. So this is why it's important that your files, that those pattern pieces aren't linked together. So now I'm going to click actually just one time and go all the way down, and then I'm going to do the double click. Click, click. Cool. So we should be in business. Okay, there we go. There's our zipper. Do you guys see it? Yes, it's default zipper pull. Can you change it? Yeah, you can change everything. You can make it the teeth bigger, the tape bigger. You can do it all. It's in the property editor. I don't think it's important for today because we're just so new to this. So let's go ahead and just simulate. Okay, cool. There we go. So now we have our zipper. And then let's go ahead and pull our zipper down a little bit. Let's say we want it unzipped a couple inches. So to do that, I'm going to unsimulate. And this time we use the move tool because there is no zipper arrow tool. You know, like the button, we have the button with the white arrow. The zipper doesn't have one. So you just use this guy and you click the slider. Okay, so it's picky. Slider, did I get you? Click, I think I got it. Okay, there's a gizmo. The gizmo gets in my way. Don't use the gizmo because the gizmo is gonna spin it and twist it and move it. They're not the way we want, so I'll be careful. So I'm just gonna grab that slider. I'm clicking and dragging, and do you see how I'm bringing the slider down? That's what you wanna do. Okay, so now I just released. I just used my left mouse. I clicked and dragged. Okay, and now I'm gonna simulate. And it just unzipped it. It left the tape and just kind of unzipped it for us. Hit the number 2, and there we go. If you don't like seeing those red lines there, this is like the view tool, so you can do that to get rid of it. I believe that purple line is a baseline. If we don't want to look at our baselines, it's in that same thing too. Which one? Show garnet. You know, it's somewhere. Oh, here we go. Show baselines. So I can just click it, and then you won't see it anymore. You know, you can kind of play around with that. Maybe you don't want that seam. I think you guys have learned how to merge already. If that seam bugs you, I'm going to unsimulate. You could just click the letter Z. And let's go in here, letter Z. Click. I guess hold Shift. Oh, I guess you don't have to hold Shift because they're symmetrics. And we can say merge. There you go. Now the seam's gone. That's an option, not mandatory for this. Just kind of reviewing, because I know we learned that from the last module. Okay, and we're basically done. Does anybody want to print this out and sew it up? You can if you would like to. To do that, just go. Now, you might want to name your pattern pieces. That might help you stay organized. You can do that in any guesses where you can name your pattern pieces. The answer is the property editor. So it's usually at the top. So they just have a default name of like pattern 2D. You could change that to back if you wanted. You can add seam allowance as well if you like select everything. And then where is my seam allowance tool? I obviously don't add seam allowance a lot, so I kind of forget. It's here somewhere though. Oh, it's so close. There it is, seam allowance. And so it defaults the seam allowance to like a weird number. I don't even know. I always have to go in and change it. Let's see here. We got it. I'm like a little rusty on this. Oh, nope, that's not it. Okay, let me go in. Click here. There we are. Okay, so it defaults it to 0.394. Okay, so the seam allowance tool is not the strongest in Clo. You can add seam allowance all at the same time, but to change it all to like 0.5 inches, if that's what you want, I think you have to like select each seam, which is kind of annoying. And like you can't, I'm trying to hold Shift and it's still not even, oh yeah, there it is working. So I guess you can hold Shift and do it and then pick 0.5. Yeah, I don't know. that could be improved, definitely. But anyways, once you get that all sorted out, you can go file, and you can export it. Lots of choices here. Maybe you just do DXF and send it to Kinko's and have them print it for you, or Plotter PLT. I just do Adobe PDF at home, and then I open it in Illustrator and I tile the pages. I'm not sure if you guys have ever done that before. I can just show you really quickly. This is not necessary. You do not have to do this for this project. I just am running on a tangent here. So if you're done, end this video and stop watching. But if you're interested in printing it at home, I'll show you. Bomber jacket. And just figure out where you're going to save it. I'll just put it on the desktop. Okay. Okay, so scale, I do not want it to scale 2,000%. So I'm going to change that to 100%. I don't really care about rotating. Yeah, I like page margins, I guess. Why not? I'm just going to add an inch just in case. Maybe I don't know. Maybe that's a mistake, but I'm going to say yes for right now. Do I want my internal lines? Sure. Do I want to see baselines? Not really. I do want to see seam allowance, that's for sure. In case there's reference lines, I'll say yeah. You can show images. That's kind of good if you have like fabric or graphic. I don't, so I don't really need to do that. Let's look at this info. Oh yeah, additional information. I love when it shows me my pattern names, especially when I name them. Oh, I love when it shows me the line lengths as well, because then after I print it, I can just measure it really quickly to see if it printed the right amount. I like to see grading lines. I like to see buttons. So that's up to you, whatever you like, and then just say okay. And then now I should go find it and see if I can open it. You can open Adobe Acrobat. I like to print out of Illustrator. It doesn't really matter. I'll show you how I printed in Illustrator for those of you guys that have Illustrator. So, okay, I don't care about the font. Okay, so here it is. I can move things around too in Illustrator for those of you guys that are comfortable in Illustrator. But I'm just I'm gonna say view, show page tiling. Am I in the right place? Yeah, no. There we go. Show print tiling. That's what I like. I like to see that. So right now if I print it, this is what I'm gonna print, just this one page. You can see my printer has like kind of a thick margin at the end, thinner margins on the sides and the top. So, okay, so now I'm gonna say File, Print. I don't never really let the printer be defined by driver. Always choose your own page. I'm gonna choose US letter sizes. That's what we have in our printer. I'm gonna say for scaling, I'm gonna say tile full pages. And then yeah, I want my scale 100 and 100. You can say the range. I'm gonna say, I could say print if I want, but I'm gonna say done for right now. And this is how it's gonna print. This is handy too. When it comes out of your printer, you know how to tape it together. I'll know like, oopsies, space bar is a pan. Oh my gosh, Command 0, lost it. Panning with the space bar. Z to zoom. I was still using my Clo tools. So, okay, so right off the bat, what's gonna happen is I'm just gonna butt my pages together. So when I have page 1, I'm gonna line up to page 2. I'm not gonna overlap it at all. Instead, what's gonna happen, the number 5 right here, it's not gonna be printed because number 5 falls into my margin. So I'm just gonna tape it together and I'm gonna have like, basically, I'm gonna have a white space in between these lines because my printer has a margin and it just doesn't print there no matter what. But it's still accounting, it's still taking like that line into consideration. It's not like resizing it. So I like doing it this way because I just line up the edges of my paper and I tape them. I don't even have to worry about overlapping it or anything. And I'm okay that the number 5 isn't gonna be printed because it's in the margin. I just know it's okay. And it's a pretty easy way to tape it together. And then it's just nice having this too because it gets kind of confusing when all the papers come out. You're like, why is this one blank? You can just sort of see how to puzzle piece it together. So yeah, I just wanted to share this with you in case you were inspired to try to print this out or anything you make, just to print it out at home. It's kind of fun to do it. All right, guys, that concludes this video. I hope you learned a ton. We did a lot of stuff. All right, let me know how it goes.